Today I'm here at DC Pianos in Berkeley, California with a digital piano, not an acoustic piano, but regardless, this is a digital piano that many of you guys have really wanted me to review, and some of you may even know what it is just by looking at it. This is the Kawai CA99, which is, to the best of my knowledge, Kawai's flagship CA piano in the CA lineup. It's a console-style piano, of course, not a stage piano like I typically review, so that means it has built-in speakers and a piano-shaped body. And there's a couple of things that make the CA99 particularly interesting, which is why I'm reviewing it here today. First of all, it's one of the few digital pianos by Kawai that uses the new Grand Feel 3 version of the Action. Several years ago, Kawai came out with the Grand Feel Action, which was intended to replicate the feel of a real acoustic piano, hence the name Grand Feel. And it's honestly a phenomenal action. And then they came out with the Grand Feel 2 a year or two later, which was also very good, and now they've come out with the Grand Feel 3. Now, every time they've come out with a new Grand Feel Action, I haven't noticed a massive improvement, but there has been small, subtle improvements. In my opinion, from the little I've played the Grand Feel 2, I felt it was a little bit weaker than the Grand Feel 1, but the Grand Feel 3, I think, is a big improvement, well, at least a small improvement for sure, over the original Grand Feel and the Grand Feel 2. I think the Grand Feel 3 feels absolutely lovely. It's lush and beautiful to play, and it's for sure one of the best digital piano actions on the market today. Honestly, I'd say it's probably the best, at least in my opinion, that I've played. It feels phenomenal. It feels really, really great, and it's smooth, it's clean, it's wonderful, it's really, really wonderful to play. But that's not the only thing that makes this CA99 special. One of the other things that makes it special is the fact that, unlike the other members of the CA family, this actually uses an actual soundboard. So in addition to traditional speakers up top, it also has a relatively small, it's about this tall in the back, soundboard with transducers that are actually using the real wood of a real soundboard to emulate the sound of a real piano, and I think this does give us a better sound. It still does sound, of course, digital and artificial, but to a lesser degree than if it was only running on speakers. I think it definitely has kind of a big boomy sound in the bass that's very fun to listen to, but then it does rather quickly become not as boomy up here in the mid-range and the treble, in my opinion. Especially the last octave does sound rather fake and digital. But however, of course, no digital piano is going to truly replicate or replace, I think ever, a real acoustic piano, and for the price point of this instrument, I think it's actually really, really fantastic. Even if it does turn out to be more expensive than I'm thinking it is at the moment, the action and the sound of it is still lovely. Now, one hot topic in the comment section of my videos is how I'm recording digital pianos, and in today's video, I'm going to be recording this guy differently than I usually do. Traditionally, I would use the direct line outs, which this does have, to record the sound of a digital piano, which does give us a very accurate representation of the actual sound files of the instrument. And when perhaps I get one of these in the studio, I will do that then, and we'll test out the sound of the direct line out versus the sound of the speakers perhaps, or do something along those lines. But because this uses a soundboard and it's a bit different, I thought in today's video we would actually record the soundboard of the instrument to see how that sounds. So you're not going to be hearing the direct line out. That'll be coming in a later video if I decide to get one of these in the studio. But for today's video, we're going to be recording this soundboard kind of like you might a real acoustic piano. We've got a microphone behind the piano here next to the soundboard, not too close, it's about this far away from the soundboard, and we're going to be checking out the sound of that. So to further explain my logic as to why I want to record the actual physical sound of the CA99 rather than simply the direct line outs, I thought I'd show you guys a little bit behind the instrument to show you exactly what's so special about it. What's a bit more standard about this instrument, and it seems to be pretty similar to it on the CA78 right here, is the speakers on top. It feels like we've got one speaker here because there's kind of like a little round indentation, and then there's another one right around here. There's another one over here, and another one over here. So there's a total of what appears to be 4 speakers along the top, hidden under this nice little bit of fabric. There could be more under here where it's solid, but I don't think so. I think there's only 4 speakers, or at least 4 speaker holes along the top of the instrument. But that's not where things get special. These sound pretty nice, and I do like them, but things get really special if you take a look at the back of the instrument. What we have here is an actual soundboard. Very similar, but not identical, to what you might find on an actual acoustic piano. And it appears to me that you'd have one transducer here, or one set of them perhaps, right here where these 4 screws are, and then at the other end, which is behind me, right down here, there's another set of screws. So there might be a treble transducer down here as well for the treble side of the soundboard. I'm not positive. I haven't done that much research into the design of them. When I get them into the studio, I will know more about it. But for now, that's just all I know, is that there are at least 2 transducers down here at the back of the soundboard. So that is what's giving this a really special characteristic. It's giving this a more authentic sound than if you were just using speakers, and that, I think, is what makes the CA99 super special, and that's why I'm recording the physical sound of it. So let's hear how the CA99 sounds, and let's check it out. So that is the sound of the CA99, and honestly, I mean, let's be real here. It's not going to replace a real acoustic piano, but I do think it sounds really, really great, especially for a digital piano. What I am noticing, at least could be the way we have the instrument arranged, but it does seem to me that there's a pretty abrupt transition from what I'm assuming is the speakers to using the soundboard. It almost, perhaps they're using the soundboard only for the lower notes, because it seems that there's a really sudden transition right in around this range. All of a sudden the piano will get big and boomy from a certain point on down. Let me see if I can find that point. Somewhere right around in here. Maybe it doesn't really be, maybe it's not all that obvious when you're just playing single notes. But it seems like when I was playing it, the piano would get very boomy in the low bass, but then right about here it would stop being so boomy. Having said that though, the low bass sounds amazing. It's rich and deep and powerful and really, really lovely sounding, and I love playing the low bass. The mid-range also has a nice sound as well. It does sound a bit more digital, but it has a nice sound too, and even the tight treble does sound very nice. I mean, it's a Kawai digital. They use really nice sound samples in this digital piano. So honestly, it sounds really great. Does it sound like a acoustic piano? No, it doesn't sound like a real acoustic piano, but it sounds like a recording of one, and it honestly is really great to play. I think probably the best thing about this, though, is going to be that Grand Feel 3 action, which is remarkable to play. I love the original Grand Feel, and I feel like one of the things they have improved in the new Grand Feel 3 is the pianissimo response. I feel like playing extremely quietly is even easier than before on this new action. I also feel like the black key tops are different. I feel like they're actually like real wood now instead of just like a satin finish to them. They have a different feel, and I like that as well. But I feel like the pianissimo response is phenomenal on the Grand Feel 3, and it's just absolutely wonderful to play, and I love it. All my life, I've always really loved the idea of a stage piano, a simple, portable digital piano that can be used at home if you want it to, or can easily be used on location. And I've always wondered why so many people seem to love the idea of a console piano like this. I've always kind of viewed them as not as practical and not ideal for me, and I still think they're not ideal for me. I think for my own use, I still do prefer a stage piano, but playing a CA99, I can really begin to appreciate why people like these type of instruments so much. It does have a really, really nice sound, and the action is absolutely a dream to play. Kawai did a phenomenal job with the Grand Feel 3 action, and it's just, I could sit here and play it all day. It really, really sounds amazing. And of course, piano isn't the only sound this thing can do. You have a wide variety of other sounds. I think the electric pianos are really fantastic. It's got some tone wheel organ sounds, and you've got a few other like synth strings and pads and stuff like that. But in today's video, we're only going to be focusing on the acoustic piano sound. If I get one of these into the studio, which I think I might, I really like this thing. If I get one of these into the studio and do a video on it, then I will also, like I mentioned, record it in different ways and test out how it sounds, the direct signal versus sounding through the soundboard, and we'll also explore some of those extra sounds in that video. But I think that's about all there is for today with the CA99. I am really impressed. I played it a little bit at the NAMM show and I was like, yeah, it's good. But now I'm playing it here and I'm like, oh yeah, it's real good. I am really liking the CA99, and I really hope that you guys are liking this video that I made of it. If you guys did, you might want to go check out my channel. I've got lots of cool videos of acoustic pianos, digital pianos, stage pianos, and a couple of console-style pianos mixed in there too. And I think there might be a few more like this featured in the future of my channel. So if any of you guys think that might sound cool, you might want to think about subscribing. And if you do want to subscribe, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video. And of course, always don't forget to, if you're in the Bay Area, definitely come by and visit DC Pianos. It's an awesome, awesome music store. Anyway, that's it. Have a great day. See you guys in the next video. Goodbye.